Right about there. Let me start that over.
Damn it, Dylan! Are you ready?
Pay attention!
Check your reality.
Let's do this! The comments and opinions of this program may be considered offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone and welcome back to Uncommon Sense. I am your uncommon host, Billy the Kid, and today in the studio we have your other uncommon host, Uncle Butch. Today we're going to cover about 5 different items, brief through a couple of things, and then get into the serious crap. So first, I'm going to bring in Butch to talk about the mandate rejection. The epic fail of the Biden administration.
That's right. That's what Joe Biden's doing right now.
That's what he's been doing since he started campaigning.
Oh, I know. Hiding in his basement. And,
Tripping upstairs.
yeah, 3 times.
Shit in his pants.
Yeah. Well, I like that one meme of Biden where it shows him standing there with the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
And the Pope goes, "Was that a fart?" And Joe Biden goes, "Well, most of it."
Most of it.
All right, so back to what we're discussing today. The Fifth Circuit Court took it upon themselves, or actually were requested to review the mandate, the vaccine mandate that Joe Biden has put out, and they found that it was too broad spread. It didn't actually specify what was going to happen or to who it was going to happen. It also left a lot of blanks for everyone to fill out, the Biden administration. So the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals shut down the vaccine mandate. It was appealed by the Biden administration. So again, it was shut down on appeal, and the Fifth Circuit Court says, 1, it's too vague, and 2,
Drum roll, please.
it's unconstitutional. So it's been put on hold. So the vaccine mandate is not running right now. Nobody has to get the vaccine if you don't want it.
No.
Because it is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right.
Yep, Fourth Amendment right.
And if you don't believe me, you better research the Fourth Amendment or pay attention to this upcoming Freedom Friday, where we're going to discuss the Fourth Amendment in detail.
Alright, so next, Miss J.K. Rowling has not been invited to the 20th birthday party for the Harry Potter movies.
I think it's ludicrous and funny at the same time. Here, the creator of the shows, of the books, and the movies and everything else.
If it wasn't for her, there would be no Harry Potter.
Exactly.
It's okay, to me, as a comic book nerd, that would be like not inviting Stan Lee to anything Marvel related.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he made another perfect analogy.
No.
That'd be like not inviting George Lucas to a Star Wars event. Like,
yeah.
what is wrong with you people? But so she supposedly made some transphobic tweets or something like that.
Or people that received it or interpreted it as transphobic tweets.
Now, when I read them, and I don't have them available with me, but you guys can look them up. All you have to do is Google J.K. Rowling tweets. Those will probably be the first ones that pop up, especially if you type in that T word I mentioned. But really, as far as I'm concerned, her tweets were pro-women.
Yes. And anyone who saw them differently, you have issues, man. You need to seek professional help.
No kidding. So, the guy that played Hagrid, I can't remember his name right now, but he's stood up for her. I don't know if they ended up uninviting him or anything like that, but I know he stood up for her and really just threw that ideology back in the faces of those that were, canceling her, basically.
Right, the politically correct left.
Yeah. And another interesting note, it's always funny when the villain turns out to be the good guy, right?
Malfoy.
So Malfoy is the only one of the top kid actors. Those top four. You got your three good kids,
right,
who are all saying she's transphobic and she shouldn't say the things that she said or whatever. Malfoy, on the other hand, has liked and retweeted several of her tweets.
Right on.
He hasn't said anything publicly, but I don't think I can blame him, honestly, being
right.
How young he is and the backlash that other people have received.
Yeah.
That would be a scary thing to do in his position.
It would also, I can understand his silence on it, because he would be, in this age of cancel culture, he would be canceled. His livelihood would be ruined.
And yet at the same time, when you really think about it, how many people have been canceled that the canceling has actually worked?
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
actually made them more famous.
Yep.
Wasn't it? Didn't Dave Chappelle get more views on his second thing that he did?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember how many it was, but it was a significant number.
And he still talked about transsexual.
Well, because he was answering the backlash he got from the first show.
Yeah.
And there's several others that, instead of it actually canceling them, it made it more famous. I think the only thing that they've really succeeded with canceling is things that, like, they stopped making copies of.
Right.
Like Blazing Saddles or Gone with the Wind was another one.
Right.
They stopped making copies of certain Dr. Seuss books, stuff like that.
And what really gets me about the Dr. Seuss thing is that you had the previous administration, Michelle Obama, actually reading Dr. Seuss books to school children.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after Trump took office, all of a sudden, ooh, Dr. Seuss, he's bad, he's racist, he's whatever. He's an author and a cartoonist. You're getting upset over a cartoon, you need to seek professional help.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to tell you, I ran into my first Karen in the wild today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and it took everything I could to keep my mouth shut. I was so close to the exit door, and I wanted to make it out without getting thrown out. I still had some purchases to make.
Right.
But I was that close to the exit door. And this lady, she went off because she was handing in... Well, first, let me start off. There's a gentleman up at the counter, and you know what store this is at, where I go to get my tobacco and such.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gentleman at the counter. He was being helped. There's only one cashier. He just ordered 3 packs of cigarettes, paid for them, left. Now, while he was there, though, Karen was standing out in the middle of the aisle, blocking everybody.
What?
I came around the side where everybody's supposed to stand, in line, waiting for this particular section. She looked at me and just continued to stand there. She would not move. Everyone had to walk around her or move, maneuver around her.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, uh-oh, this looks like a Karen in the wild. I better be careful. Well, the guy, he made his purchase. He left. Karen walks right on up to the cashier, pulls out this blue plastic folder that has her lottery tickets in it.
Oh, jeez.
And proceeds to tell the cashier that I'm not sure if these are winners or not, but I want you to check them if you could. Cashier says fine. Proceeds to check the tickets. All the tickets, except for one, read that they were all losers. The one that couldn't be read, and we know why they can't be read, because there's a barcode on the back, and you take a pencil or a permanent marker and mark on there.
Which most places do after they have already ran that ticket. Because when we worked at that lottery place, we used to rip them in half.
Right.
It was either run a marker through it or you tear it in half.
Yep. Well, the cashier was trying her best. She sat there for 5 minutes trying to get this card to read or register, whatever. Nothing. The machine would not pick it up at all. So she goes over to the lady, explains what's going on. Lady all of a sudden erupts. Boom! Full-blown Karen. I was like,
wow.
Yes, it is a Karen. By golly, I've seen one in the wild. So
that's funny. Crikey, because I just got my roommate just got a Steve Irwin thing for the kids to watch. Crikey.
So I'm keeping my distance. I'm biting my tongue. I'm Just need to make a quick purchase and be out the door. She continues to stand there and argue with the cashier that she knows that it's a winner. She knows that it's a winner, and she doesn't understand why they're not giving her her money. Well, the cashier said, all right, let me try it again. Now, at this point, about 10-15 minutes has already gone by.
Yeah.
And there's a line building up behind me. Mm-hmm. And we're all waiting on Karen to conclude her business and leave. Well, the gal sits over there for another 10 minutes, and she's trying to run this ticket through. She looks up, she sees how long the line's getting, and she goes, I can't do it anymore. So she walks on over and explains that the machine is not reading the ticket, but if she'd like, she could go ahead and call the number on the ticket for the main office for the lottery, or she could send her ticket in, and she showed her the address.
Right.
Karen proceeded to argue with her that she knows it's a winner and she just doesn't understand why she's not getting her money. She should get her money right now. Before I go on any further, I don't know what it is about Karens. They all have the same haircut, pretty much. This Karen had that haircut. She had her glasses up on her head, her sunglasses, and she was sitting there and her head's going back and forth. And at one point, when she put her head down, it looked like Alf from the TV show was sitting there. I was like, wow.
Was she a crackhead, Karen?
No, she wasn't a crackhead. She was more of the refined, her husband makes a lot of money.
Okay, one of those Karens.
Right, so, yeah, and rules don't apply to her.
Right.
So, anyway, the cashier, she did her best. She explained everything to her and said, this is the only way you're going to be able to take care of it. So Karen finally goes, fine, I'll just call them or send us up there because it's ridiculous that you didn't give me your any money. I know it's a winner. And everybody behind me is like, oh.
God, lady, just get over yourself.
Yeah.
So we can all move on with our lives.
I'm sitting there biting my tongue. I wish I had my phone out so I could record it.
Right? That would have been a TikTok winner right there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Karen gone wild.
They'd be like, it's ma'am.
Well, so I had to, just throw that out there.
Crazy Karen. You gotta watch out for them Karens, man.
Yes.
They be on the loose.
Oh.
Oh, the Kens, too.
Yeah.
Oof. Awful.
I like the Kens because I like to ask them, do you have your Depends on?
Right.
Now, when you're using that, you're making sure the sticky side goes down, right? Because a lot of these Kens, they think they're above and beyond the law and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing...
They're above morale and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, they deserve special treatment because they've been treated special all their life.
And everyone else is just a cheeky fellow.
Yes. We're commoners. Well, sorry. We're uncommoners. And that shit don't fly with us.
Oh.
So, anyway, back to subject. I didn't mean to get off subject.
Hey, Karens are always a subject. All right, but moving on. We're going to brief over a little bit about the Second Amendment.
Yes.
There is so much turmoil going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's positive things happening, but then you've got,
the far left.
The far left. So you got the riots and all that other crap happening now, too. Even in Portland.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go off subject just a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Speaking of Portland and our lovely state of Oregon that I love with all my heart.
Yes.
If you guys live in Oregon, look up Stan Pulliam. Look him up on YouTube. There's a couple of new videos. I can even link a couple in the description if you want. But Stan has already visited the border.
Yeah.
He went down to Arizona. He just posted a video.
Yes, he did.
A few days ago. And he's powerful to listen to. He's very inspiring.
Right.
He's got that country heart of an American that, just...
Of America that we want it to be.
Yeah.
And that it should be, not what the liberal left is turning it into.
And if he didn't already, he's starting to see what I was seeing myself as an uncommoner. We got all these people trying to make part of Oregon into part of Idaho.
Right.
I don't want to be
I don't want to be Greater Idaho. If anything, I'd rather become the state of Jefferson.
And I was kind of on the line with that, but at the same time, I didn't really like that either. I want my state back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want Oregon to be Oregon, the state that you come to, so you can see wonders like Crater Lake. Mm-hmm. So you can hike some of our trails that we have.
Dude, we have some of the most beautiful
mountains and
the waterfall spots in Oregon are so gorgeous, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the greenery, and I mean, this is what you buy a calendar for because it was such a pretty picture.
Yeah.
And that's what we walk through when you go through Central Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, I love driving to Roseburg and taking that back road.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's where my friend and I drove through that rainbow. That's right. I drove through the end of a rainbow. That was some cool shit.
Right on.
It was all like, there was like rainbows everywhere. But there was no gold. Ah! Darn leprechauns, they lied.
I agree with you. We need to get Oregon back.
We do.
I think we need to get America back also, that it's ran by the citizens.
Yes.
And not a government control.
Is all about that.
Mm-hmm.
As governor, he sees it as it's his job to be there when we need him. Mm-hmm. The counties and the communities need to get back to governing themselves.
Right.
So when we need that extra boost, we need that extra help from the state or even the federal government, he's our link to that. Right. And he's there to help us.
Yeah.
You know, or if there's an issue that we're trying to figure out, we need extra brainstorming, extra funding or whatever. That's what the governor's supposed to be there for, not to tell us when to wear a mask or not.
Right.
Did you see that picture of her wearing a snow globe on her face?
No,
I thought it was a joke, dude.
She actually wore a snow globe.
She actually wore a snow globe on her face.
I bet you that was the best part of her face.
It was.
We have the worst governor in all 50 states.
I would say so. I don't know.
They done a poll, and she actually came in dead last.
Did she? Yeah.
She is the worst.
She's even worse than Cuomo.
Yeah, that's pretty bad when you're worse than Cuomo.
Newsom.
and Newsom combined.
That's pretty bad.
That's how far left her ideologies are.
Oregonians hate our governor.
Yeah.
Like, no one at this point feels like, we didn't vote for her. Where'd she come from?
Exactly.
I don't know who voted for her because I don't know anybody that voted for her.
Me either.
Me personally, I've never met a single person.
Yeah.
But getting back to Stan, I think like I said, if he didn't see it like that already, he's starting to, that it has to start at home.
Yeah.
And what is trickling up over the border, they don't stay down there.
No, they
don't stay in Texas or Arizona. They come north.
Yeah, they get shipped off to other states, and usually it's the northern states, far away from the border. And
when he was down there talking to the sheriff down there in Arizona, they kind of made a joke at the end that was a little bit cynical in a way.
Okay, right.
So they come across the border. Next stop, Portland.
Wow.
But I mean, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
And
New Jersey, New York.
Especially over the last year,
we
have seen the crime and homelessness and the drug problems up there in Portland just skyrocket, as if they weren't bad enough already.
Yeah.
And that one sheriff said that enough fentanyl and methamphetamine comes over the border every single day. Well, let's see, in a month, they'll bring enough across the border. That's what it was. In a whole month to kill every American.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen that.
You saw that part, huh?
I saw that part.
And then you think, how much of that has gone to Portland?
Exactly.
It's just crazy, dude.
This is what happens when you don't vet the people coming into the country illegally or even legally. They want all Americans. This is what gets me about the current administration, is that they want all Americans to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. But they don't care about the vaccination status of the people that are flooding our southern border every single day.
Well, and these are the same people they'll scream and rant about, crime and safety and this and that. But you're letting criminals across the border. You're the same ones that are, petitioning for open borders.
Yep.
This doesn't make sense. There is a process that people have to go through. My mom had to go through it.
Right.
30 some odd years ago. Mm-hmm. My mom had to go through a process, pay fees, learn the language, and pass a test in order to become a citizen.
Yes.
She didn't just hop over here, hop in a canoe and row over from the Philippines and just
Right.
did whatever she wanted. No.
No.
That's not, that is not how this works.
All right, so back on top.
Moving back to the Second Amendment thing.
Right.
Okay, so we've got to stand our ground with this while the cards are on our side, so to speak.
Right.
We're not at checkmate yet, you know.
No, we're not. We're far from it.
One move doesn't win you the chess championship, okay? No. So, but that said, there's a lot of people I'm noticing when I'm going through stuff online. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing comments. I'm using this guy's as an example. No mentions name because I don't know him.
Right.
But I just read this on a thing the other day, and it's usually with something to do either with the Second Amendment itself or a recent video of the Rittenhouse trial.
Right.
Okay? But this is something I'm seeing a lot. I get that everyone is celebrating, but we also must be realistic about the other side. This country still is at a point where the right to defend yourself was put on trial, where the criminals that night were called heroes and Kyle was called a murderer. I get the celebration for justice, but justice and good must continue to be shoved at the face of evil. Don't relax now, keep up the pressure.
Yes.
So he stated it very simply, but that is a very common view that's becoming more in public right now.
Right.
So, like, I'm basically just trying to call out patriots. Like, we need to be louder about this. We need to push back.
Yes.
But simultaneously, let's take note that the situation with Kyle was used for a certain advantage.
Right.
They hyped it up.
Yep.
They broadcasted the whole thing live.
Oh, yeah.
And what was going on behind the scenes? This is something that I keep pointing out to everybody, and I'm going to say it again. What is more important than what they show us?
Yeah.
What they don't show us.
Yep.
That is more important. So while they're showing us everything with Kyle, they were not showing us the lead up and the pre-trial to the Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right. That is absolutely correct.
And what is the one thing that could bring all Americans together right now?
Oh, protecting our kids.
Protecting our children.
Yeah, that's the number one concern. Well, for most parents, unless you're a Karen.
Right. But, obviously, we can't literally speak for everyone. But the small amount of people that wouldn't be there to protect our children, well, those are the ones we all want to protect our children from. So,
exactly.
Here we are, the extreme large majority. Mm-hmm. Whether, this is a point where it doesn't matter what your party is. Your creed, your color, your political affiliation means absolutely nothing.
Right.
It is dust in the wind when it comes to what's important for protecting our kids. And they're brushing it under the rug as much as they can.
Yep.
Everything I've read has been very basic.
Yeah.
Very brief. The longer articles are more full of other people's opinions about it than what's actually happening in the trial.
I'm wondering if with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, one judge has already said that, yes, it should be viewed on TV. It should have a live courtroom. Mm-hmm. And that way everybody can get involved and know what's going on.
Yeah.
Not just have preconceived judgments. Because that means you're prejudiced already. So,
yeah,
I think they should show the trial.
Yeah, I think they should too.
I think the reason the mainstream media and the news outlets are not discussing all of it is because they're afraid of what's going to be exposed.
Yeah.
Who is going
to be exposed?
Right. Well, I can tell you this much. Her father, Robert Maxwell, who was a publicist. Mm-hmm. He had his own newspaper publication, media, and all like that. He is a shamed person. He lost his fortune, his entire fortune. In the meantime, Ghislaine meets up with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein says, "Hey, I'll give you $20,000 if you go talk to this girl for me."
Well, and she's trying to pretty much put it all on Jeffrey, like it's all his fault.
Right.
And then, like, her brother was trying to say that this is going to be the most overhyped trial of the decade or whatever. Right. Which, obviously, it's not.
It's not. If it's always on the back burner and they don't want anyone to show it, it's not overhyped.
And that they're because they couldn't take Jeffrey to trial, then they're taking her to trial instead. Which I guess, in a way, that could be true.
Right.
But at the same time, whether or not Jeffrey had made it to trial, she would have ended up going to trial as well.
Yes. As
The
an
fact
accomplice,
that he
accessory
was
to the crime.
excluded from the equation, however that may be,
Right.
before this happened, doesn't change the fact that she would have been brought to trial anyways.
Exactly.
Because she was part of it.
Yep. Right.
And I feel like they're just trying to use that as an excuse.
Exactly. Well, I know there's a few things that Ghislaine Maxwell's defense team wants to exclude from evidence, such as Jeffrey Epstein's little black book.
Yep.
Why? Why exclude
why?
that? That is important information.
That's like the most important information right there.
Right. Is it because it might highlight some very high-ranking
Powerful
public
people? Officials?
They're not powerful. We have the power. We the
No,
people
but I
have
mean,
the
like,
power.
as far as money goes.
But as far as
Money
yeah.
goes. Money
Yeah.
power people. And not just politically
Right.
money powerful, but industrially money powerful.
Yeah. Influential
I mean,
people.
there's things
around
on that
the
list
world.
like the Disney company,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sony, and all kinds of rich and famous names that I won't mention.
Prince.
And they're excluding a certain prince
Andrew.
from the trial.
Right.
I read that this morning.
Yep. They want him excluded because they say he doesn't have any knowledge or bearing on the case. I'm sorry if he's visited the Epstein rape pile on more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a major part of this.
Yep.
And he has a significant amount of information of not only his involvement,
Did you see that interview
but also
with him?
who's involved with him.
Or not with him. No. Oh, I was thinking of Bill Gates in my head. Did
Oh,
you see that
okay.
interview with Bill Gates?
Which
Where
one?
she randomly asked him about the Epstein thing and he got all like fidgety and shit.
Oh, yeah.
I even watched this thing on YouTube. There's this guy, he's a nonverbal language expert.
Right.
And he does different picking aparts of all kinds of different things.
Right. He's a body language professional interpreter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched his about Bill Gates and about, what's his face? Travis Scott.
Ah.
Very interesting.
I bet.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, but when it comes to Travis Scott, he said straight up, that kid's lying. This is like he basically said that was the worst attempt at an honest apology he'd ever seen in his life. I was like, yeah, no kidding. I mean, the fact that he went through and tried to find a filter before he recorded it just makes me sick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was in black and white. He had to find a filter for that.
Yep. That's ridiculous.
Oh, what a piece of... Anyways. Okay, so one more thing I want to point out is how the media is really brushing around the subject of the horrific national tragedy that happened in Wakesha.
Yeah.
How many days did it take them to finally say that it was a black man?
Mm-hmm. To release the identity
When
of the
I
suspect.
first heard about it, and I sent you that thing that I found from CNN,
Right.
the day that it happened, I turned right around and looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Within minutes, I knew who Darrell Brooks was, how old he was, and significant amount of his record, which is
Right.
apparently like 50 pages long.
Yes, it is. 50 pages long.
This man was disgusting.
Yes.
Even more disgusting than Rosenbaum.
Exactly. Yeah. And for him to flee a crime scene where he brandished a knife and stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
That's why he was fleeing from driving away at such high rate of speed. He turns the corner,
Okay,
sees a parade, and what does he do? He doesn't slow down. He speeds up and plows
There's
into
actually
people.
a little bit of controversy there. Because that's some of the stuff coming out of the media that's saying that.
Right.
Whereas reports from the police that day
Mm-hmm.
say that yes, he did flee from that thing, but by
Right.
the time he got toward the parade, he wasn't driving fast. He started driving fast when he went through the barricade.
Right. Exactly.
But he was actually going slow. The cop was trying to stop him and tell him, I need to speak to you. and it was about the previous event.
Right.
He just completely ignored the cop, kept going at a fairly slow pace, and then pushed through the blockade, and the cop starts keeping up with him and banging on the hood and telling him he needs to stop, he's got to turn around, you can't go through here, blah, blah, blah. And that's when he takes off.
Yep.
And actually swerves into people.
Yeah. You know what? I have to add this as a conclusion here. That we have so many people who have been educated that the police are bad, the police are out to kill you.
Yeah.
Police are going to do this, police are going to do that. Don't get me wrong, I'm pro-police, but I'm also a First Amendment auditor, and I believe in all your rights. And anyone who tries to take those rights away from you should be exposed.
Well, and another big subject around this Darrell Brooks thing, too, is the bail situation.
Yeah. He had a $1,000 bail, and he only had to come up with $500.
Yeah. And it all goes back to bail reform.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that there aren't things that need to be fixed in the bail system, because the bail system is crap if you're a nonviolent offender.
Yes.
Trust me. I know.
Yes, it is.
Okay? But when it comes to violent offenders, if anything, they need harsher bail.
Yes.
Because there's so many of them that get out on almost nothing. And what do when they get out? They go right back out and do the same crap, if not worse, than what they did before.
Right. And now we got AOC and the squad talking about they want bail reform to make it easier for criminals to avoid going to jail or prison.
Yeah.
And they want it, don't get me wrong, they want it for, as AOC puts it, for low-income people who cannot afford bail. Well, if you can't afford bail, maybe you shouldn't have done the crime.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. If you can't afford bail, then don't go to jail. Oh, look, it even rhymes. It's nice and catchy. We could make it into a song.
A jaunty song.
If you can't afford bail, then don't go to jail. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know. I got something going there. Anyways, you get my drift.
Oh, yes. Well, with that, I'd like to say thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of who we are and who you are. We are Patriots United. We are uncommoners because we're the ones that makes the government afraid. Commoners are the ones that just go along with what the government says. We're uncommoners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, sir, can I have some more? That's what you're going to be asking yourself if you keep going the route you're going with these politicians that you know are just out to destroy America. With that, good night and be well.
And we don't need no
education.
Damn it, Billy. Give me back my liquor.